everyone. This is Nina from Rafaela Soul Sessions. How are we all doing? I know I've been away. I've not been around. I think the last video I posted was my video with Hara Katsuki. That was all about the higher self and what the higher self wants to tell you. That was really beautiful. That was a really beautiful conversation, as always, with her. She is amazing, and it's always a deep honor to just share space with her and share our energy with you guys. It's always so much fun. I love these collaborations with other amazing practitioners. Oh, I just knocked everything. Sorry. Yeah, I just love all these collaborations that we can do with other practitioners. It's like other quantum healers, like we all do our work in the background, and then when we come together and we have a conversation, it's like, oh, everything's amazing for you as well. It's quite a journey being a quantum healer. I wanted to pop on and just share some of my energy with you. It's been such an incredible time for so many people. The last it was building for a good couple of months, but the last month or so has been absolutely wild energy-wise. I won't share too much about my personal journey yet, because it's personal and it's still being integrated. So I won't give too much information away about that in the moment, but there is some exciting things happening in the background, and I will be very happy to share that whenever the timing is right, to share that leg of my journey. The sessions that have happened over the last little while, they've just been really amazing. It's hard to describe the level of assistance that there is for these sessions at the moment. The caliber of assistance being received during these quantum healing sessions right now is unprecedented, and it just fills me up with so much gratitude and joy. I mean, these sessions are just, I can't even say out of this world. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. So I wanted to pop on and just share some of the messages that have come through the last little while. The messages for the collective, they've been beautiful. I've also been really delving into my own channeling ability. That has kind of advanced to a level that I've never known before. I'm channeling, excuse me, my dog's having a dream in the background. He seems to be chasing a rabbit or barking at something, I don't know. Like, oh my goodness. We'll just leave him. He can just join in the video. Yeah, my channelings recently have been bringing through some really amazing information. Specifically, Yeshua has been coming through for me a lot in my channelings, but also in my work. He's been very prominent over the last little while, and it's always such a joy to have Yeshua in my field, because he's such an amazing energy. He's such an amazingly compassionate, patient, beautiful energy to have around. And it's always a really deep honor. It's one of my favorite videos is when he came through and talked about The real process of ascension being, knowing that you are a divine seed on earth, and walking on earth, owning that truth. That is the real process of ascension. That video, that was the moment I realized that there was so much more to that story, and my religious conditioning came to an end at that point. He's always been in my sessions, and I was reluctant to take that as actual factual thing. I just had too much conditioning. I just backed away from any of that stuff. But he's been so patient and loving with me, and so gentle in his approach, just gently popping into sessions and leaving little messages for me. But that particular session with a beautiful client from Mexico, she had her second session with me, and he came through at the end with that message about ascension. But he also had a message right at the end, and I'm sure I've talked about this before, as I do. He talked about how this job that I have is such a beautiful job, and how it's really amazing that we have this internet connection and we're able to connect with people all over the world. And he said, it's a beautiful job you have. Some people, they go to the office, but you get to connect people to God. And the wave of love I felt in my body at that moment, I had never felt before. And I can feel it now, actually, as I was speaking. It was so deeply moving. And then from then, he has been popping in and out of sessions quite regularly. But I've also just developed this kind of interaction with him where I know that he's part of my team. And that doesn't come from an ego space. Like, it just comes from a deep knowing that yeah, he definitely does guide some of us through this work. If you look at all of my past videos, you'll see Yeshua Jesus, he's been in there. But he came through a little while ago. Beautiful client of mine had this session, and right at the end, Yeshua came through, and he wanted to share a message with humanity. And the first thing he wanted to mention was humor. And he said, humor is so important. It's important to come together and enjoy life, eat together, make food together, read together, sing together, work the acres together, be together, step out of separation. If you can heal that, you can come back into a state of wholeness. Take everything with a wink. I have ultimate faith in my Father. I don't doubt it. I just know, and this is what gives me the confidence in Earth's plan. True confidence is standing within the knowing that you are always supported, and in the energy of being connected to love. And in the energy of being connected to love. Oh, I wrote that twice. I was like, what? Wash the feet of those around you. It is an act that will show you how deep you can love other beings, and how you can love them back to health. Stay aligned like the cross. Stay connected. Take nothing personally. And I love that about, washing the feet. I think that's a really beautiful thing. I actually went on a retreat not that long ago. Time is doing really funny things for me at the moment, so it's hard to remember. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago. I went on a retreat locally And it was all about surrender, and it was really beautifully timed for me. And we did a lot of barefoot walking outside, and we did a lot of things with, like, we put our hands into freezing cold water, like ice water, and had to sort of tell some of our story. And then the lady that was running the retreat had us all put our feet into individual foot baths, and she washed our feet for us. And it was such a beautiful and intimate and moving, very deeply moving experience. I have a really good friend who she does Reiki, but she always makes a point to anoint the feet and take extra special care of the feet. And it's just a really, really beautiful, intimate thing to have somebody do that. And I just love that bit about what he said about love them back to health, love them, you know, loving people back to their wholeness. And it reminds me very much of the sessions that I've been doing. I've been really feeling into the energies of deep, deep love and compassion, and just sort of loving people into their space of that inner standing of who they are and what their challenges are, and what it is they really need to focus on and heal within them. And it's just taken the work to a really beautiful level, being able to step into that space. So yeah, that was a really beautiful session. And I also channeled some information from Yeshua about his suffering and about the suffering in the world, and it being very much interconnected. He shared with me about how his suffering was needed to bring the light into the world. And he said to me that the same goes for now. In fact, I have the message right here. I'll just read a little bit of it. I'll not read the whole thing, but I'll read a wee bit of it. Because it was really lovely. He said, "Understand your soul. The pain and suffering is but a mechanism experienced in order to usher in the light that is required in the world. It was then, and it is now. The same sentiment remains. My suffering was required, and the world's suffering is now bringing that same light, that love, that peace. There is great order within each experience of suffering, and soon that suffering will no longer be required." And I just really love that message. That message has actually come up a couple of times for a couple of sessions recently, where I've kind of felt the need to share it with a client. Because I think a lot of people are struggling with the level of suffering that has happened within their own lives, within the earth, within their past lives, within, every area of their soul's journey. There is suffering. And to have that perspective of knowing that there is order within that suffering, there is deep pain sits right next to unmeasurable joy. And I think that's the energy of what is coming through here. And I think it's a really important message for people to see that wider perspective, to see that when we open up to that pain and struggle and suffering inside, when we really open up and feel our pains, that is when we reach the space of peace. And that's where we can find our joy. And that's been a very prominent theme for myself in my own personal journey recently. And it seems to be kind of bleeding through into every area of my work and other parts of my life. And I think it's a really important message. So I wanted to share that. I have a couple more messages. This is from a session that I facilitated at the end of May. A lovely soul in Australia. This was the message that came through at the end of the session. And this was the message. It was love. Focus on the love. The pink love that is surrounding your planet. It is there. It is physical. If you could see how much of it there is, you would be amazed. Find your light and shine it. If everybody lit up their beacon, there would be no more darkness left. Rule of thumb, for every 4 lights, the mind black hole disappears. If everyone shone their beacon, the darkness would have nowhere to go but down. But even that is being stopped now. They can't go anywhere. We say this because all is coming into fruition. There is no hiding. Those leaving the planet now are going into a transient nature. Many aren't ready yet. Those who are ready, I'm not sure what I wrote there. We can see you all down there working so hard, waking up. It's time to step up and lean into the light. There is no judgment up here. We have no judgment. We have no fear. We do not isolate. We do not isolate any beings. We are a community. There's nothing to fear here, and so neither should you. Fear is just an eclipse of betrayal. Fear nothing, and you will find it dissolves all around you. And when the fear disappears, there's nothing left but love. Once the fear goes, what control is there to be had? That was a really lovely message. And a very beautiful session as well. I will share that session down the road, but it's not time yet. So there was another session that came through, message that came through during a client session. And it was a really beautiful session, I have to say. We went into snapshots of this client's life, starting with the future. She visited her future, and she was able to feel all of the energy of her future self and where she was and what she was doing. And she was able to tap into that part of herself so that she could integrate that knowing that everything actually is okay. And then we started to rewind time. We started to take time backwards through different parts of her life, down to her childhood, down to babyhood, and even further back. We went back into the womb and back to before she was born, where she was just in this sort of void space, just floating, just pure consciousness, just floating. And that can be a really, really powerful thing during sessions where people go to that sort of just pure oneness space, that 0 point space. It's a really lovely, lovely space to be in. I've been there a few times, and It's the most healing space, I have to say. I've been there in different, it's always different, but you always know when you're there. The experience is always different, but you always know when you're in that space. And she was there for a bit. And when she was there, we called on one of our guides, and her guide was her long lost beloved pet, her dog. And it was just so lovely. I know what it's like to meet with a loved one in that space, because there is no veil, there is no boundary, they're just there, and you feel them as you feel them within your life. It's that pure love that you have for their energy. It's just right there. Such an amazing feeling when you experience that in a session. So yeah, this is what the dog had to say, the spirit of the dog. The greatest courage is opening your heart back up again. When we allow ourselves to love unconditionally without expectation, just pure love, this is what heals us from the hurt. So then we can run around with gratitude and keep loving and see each day for the treasure that it is, and love wholeheartedly without exception, and joy will come. It's okay, and it's safe to trust the heart. Always trust the heart. So then this canine companion began to lead her on a journey back through her life, her current life. And he took her to see all the friends, the joy, the fun, the adventure, the frolics, the fires, the things that fill her cup, the beach walks, the jumping waves, the peaceful moments, the watching sunsets and sunrises, the early morning walks, the morning dew, the snuggles by the fire. Taking her through this adventure and showing her just how loved she truly is. How many people really care, and how many hearts she has touched. And that the greatest adventure is to be open and receptive, because when we hide ourselves away to lick our wounds and wallow in the loss, we lose so much of our joy. From the joy of a connection with others, and the connection that forms within the shared experiences and learning of learning and growing with one another, which is really beautiful, because I think a lot of people have been hiding, especially after everything that's happened over the last couple of years. A lot of people have got so used to being on their own, being in their own company, myself included. I'm a bit of a hermit, I will admit it. I love being in my own company, and it can be hard to step out there and remember the connection that we have with others. It's been so suppressed within us, and it's actually really nice, because right now where I live, it's Beltane, so it's that sort of midsummer festival where everybody comes together and they're all cheering, and it's just a reconnection of the community, and it's really nice. I was out in it last night and this morning. My daughter was involved in the parade, and so I went with her to share that with her. And I was just walking through town this morning to get some groceries on the way home from taking the dog for a walk, and I just walked through it all, just so many people just out and about and all happy, and sharing each other's company. And It was just a really lovely feeling of seeing that community spirit coming back together, which is so needed because we've been without it for too long, and may it come back even stronger than it was before. May it come back in a new way, in a more yeah, a deeper connection, deeper level of connection. Let's hope for that. Sorry, as I was. Then the dog spirit showed her the wonder of the tapestry of life and how we weave it all together into this amazing, incredible dance and a temporary state of being. And then we move on to the next adventure, which is true. So the final messages for this client from her dog was, be present within the moment, in the mad capers, and remember that life is good. Be true to yourself. Express yourself freely and without fear or recrimination. Sorry. Just be wild and wonderful and free. You are so loved. And that was a really gorgeous session. That was beautiful. Yeah, as I say, the sessions that are happening right now are just so beautiful. They've slowed down a little bit from the spring. Spring was crazy busy. I was booked out, I think February, March, April, I was just booked out solidly. So it's actually been really nice to have a little bit more of a break. My daughter's going to be starting school soon. She's got her summer holidays coming up, so she's going to be off for nearly 2 months. And then she's going to be starting school. So that kind of, it won't really affect my work because most of my sessions happen at weekends anyway. But if anybody is thinking about booking a session with me, then weekends are probably best for me at the moment. I can probably get you in on a weekday, but I will need to get childcare for that. So a little donation towards the childcare would be very, very helpful for me if anybody is willing to do that. If they want to have a session on a weekday, but of course the weekends I still have, and I'm more than happy to facilitate sessions over the weekends. It's such a potent time at the moment. There's so many people going through big shifts, especially if you've been on this path for a while. There's some real deep purging and surrendering, accepting. A lot of these words coming up right now. Trust is like the main part of most sessions these days. Trust, acceptance, and surrendering to their path, to their journey. It just seems to be the message that's coming through right now. But there's so much support up there and out there for us. I think the best thing we can be doing at the moment is to be really laser focused on our individual path, our daily practice, whatever that may be, whatever routine you've got going, whatever, even if it's just sitting down for half an hour and just being with yourself. No phone, no computer, no noise, or maybe just some music, but just really sort of centering, being inward, or nature. Nature will speak to us. It speaks to us in so many ways, and our beloved Mother Gaia, she loves us so much, and if there is any support that can be given, allowing yourself to be enveloped by nature and held by nature whilst you're processing things and going through things is really, really important right now. So I think that's all I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for being here and watching, if you're still watching. I love you all so much, and I love what I do. I love this role I have here in this planet right now. I feel so lucky, and I just have so much love for everyone who comes my way for a session, and I so look forward to everything that's going to unfold from here on. So with that, I'm sending you all of my love, and we will speak so soon. Take care. Bye. Thanks for
watching.
Hit the
Like button
and
subscribe.